Hey, sixth graders, happy Friday to you. We made it through our first week of 2021. Um, it doesn't seem to be at this point that much different than 2020, huh? I look at it like this. I think this is the end of the sort of last gasp of what 2020 did to us. That's how I look at it. And what happened on Wednesday was the last gasp, the death throes, the of evil and awfulness that has swirled 2020. So I really do. I think there is a lot to look forward to ahead. So anyway, as always, you're welcome to join in our Zoom today if you feel like you want to just be with us, and also you want to talk further. We're going to spend a few minutes at the beginning of class and sort of again further process what happened on Wednesday. If not, then you're going watching this video. We'll tell you what to do today. So here's the agenda. We're going to review if you're not from the prairie a little bit. Then you're going to write a poem. So most of your time today will be work. So here we go. This was the poem from yesterday, right? And at this point, I would say you guys should all be pretty well versed in our work from yesterday. If you did it, those of you that were with me, we read it together. But your job was to do a couple of things, right? You were supposed to circle all the rhyming words. So like wind, or not, sorry, not wind, but let me undo that. Pour and door, game, same, blue, clue, storm, warm. So you see a pattern. And then you were all supposed to do highlighting, right? So the highlighting or underlining actually was another option, was also allowed for words like right here, we got the repeating of know the wind, right? And know the wind. So highlighting or underlining phrases that were repeated. And I also wanted you to notice this, like if you're not from the prairie, right? That's repeated. Right? That's how every stanza begins until we get near the end of the poem. Anyway, this pattern is the same. You know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. The poet designed this. They came up with it. There's no set pattern. They created it themselves. So that's one of the cool things about being a poet, is that you get to create and construct, and you'll do some of that today. So here's what you're doing today. After reading that and doing that work, you see the pattern. Now you're going to apply the pattern. So I gave you a template in today in Schoology, and this template is, let me actually show you. So if we go to today's work, which is Friday, January 8th, right? In there, I have a template, right? It's right here. The template is, and I want you to share this copy to Notability, just like you did before. This template is this. Oops, sorry. Right here. It's the same thing. So I've given you kind of the structure of the same poem. You're going to create your own if you're not from. So that guy, David Bouchard, wrote from his experience of not, being from the prairie, and his poem was about what he learned about being from the prairie. Yours is about being from whatever you brainstormed yesterday. So there's the template. So your job will be to fill it in based on this information. This is how I did it. So yesterday, you notice I gave you an example, democracy, and I started bullet pointing. Now, you're going to do this same, this is called a stanza. A stanza is like a paragraph. It's like a grouping. So up here, this is a stanza. This is another stanza. Okay? So you're going to do 3 stanzas today. That's what your goal is. If you're not from, and then this is your poem, so you get to title it yourself. But you're going to fill in sort of like, if you think about like, this is almost like Mad Libs style. I want you to take your bullet points and start plugging in based on this formula. But you have to think about it. For instance, if you're not from democracy, that's my poem title. So that's going to be the same first line for every one of these stanzas. If you're not from Democracy, you don't know. Now that's where it's going to switch. So I have to decide which words I want to pull from here that become my like kind of big themes. So I don't want to say you don't know thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. I mean, that doesn't feel right. I might, but I don't right now. I was looking at this and I'm like, okay, compromise. I like that one. You don't know the struggle of compromise. You can't know the struggle of compromise. I came up with that phrase myself. I could have just said, you don't know compromise. I could have, but I chose to put the struggle of compromise. So even as I go, I'm changing things here. Okay. After I get this is my repetition. I got democracy, struggle, compromise, struggle. All right. Now I'm going into the harder part. This is the hard stuff. So now I have to start making sort of phrases here that describes the qualities. And I'm pulling from my work over here. So I was looking at my list and it says when both sides feel they have needs, right? Right here. That's the bullet point right there. Needs people to act on others' behalf. Actually, I used needs differently there, but it's kind of like what I wanted to write. So then, since I have a word needs, I have to choose. That's my last word. Now I have to rhyme it because that's the pattern. I want you to rhyme. I know it's hard. That's why I said over here. I want to see you have repetition and rhyming. That's going to be challenging. So you're going to get some time and need some time to work on this. So I have this word needs, right? Next line, I've got a rhyme to it. So I don't even know if this really, I can't really even pull from here, but I have to start thinking, what rhymes with needs? Feeds, beads. Oh, lead. Lead's kind of related to government, right? People lead. Okay, so I'm going to use that word. So I actually started with the word needs and lead, and then I filled in the rest. And I'm like, but neither side wants to take the lead. Oh, okay, that works. When both sides feel they have needs, but neither side wants to take the lead. Ah, I have it. Okay, that took some time, right? So I go to the next line. There has to be patience and belief. So I actually came over here requires patience and faith. But here's the problem. When I wrote down there has to be patience and faith, and that's what I wrote down first, that's why I put it here. I was like, faith. What rhymes with faith? I couldn't come up with any. Now I could go over here and do like rhyming dictionary, right? I can do that. You guys can totally do that and go here, find rhymes fast. Right? I could go here, faith. Let's see here, faith. Three worms rhyme with faith, wraith, interfaith. Guess what? That's not going to work. And I kind of knew that. That's from my own experiences. I didn't need to go to rhyming dictionary. So what I did is I was like, well, that's not going to work. So let me change it to belief. That's kind of like faith. Oh, belief. I know I can rhyme with. Okay. So I got rid of faith. Boom. That went away. Then after I had belief, then I'm like, okay, what rhymes with belief? Ooh, relief. That's a word people use with government, like tax relief. Aha, and it makes you feel better. So I'm like, belief. Oh, okay, relief. And then I'm like, there has to be patience and belief, but relief is my rhyming word. That rage and frustration will end in relief. And here's the original line up here. If you go here, it says makes you mad. That's where I kind of got that. That I don't mad's a garbage word. You know, if you think back to our list that we got up, mad, mad sucks, right? And rage and frustration isn't even that much better. In fact, actually, is rage on this list? No, it's not. Good. So, rage and frustration is better for me than just mad. And it sounds better. That rage and frustration will end in relief. So I have there has to be patience and belief that rage and frustration will end in relief. It even rolls. It has a nice beat, like if you're in a rap. There has to be patience and belief that rage and frustration will end in relief. See, it's got a cadence too. So there we go. I've got one stanza. Guess what? That took like 5 minutes, 6 minutes for me. I'm an English teacher. So give yourself time. So then that's phase one today. After you've done that, what you're going to do then is phase two is you are going to take this, which you like, that's a rough draft, and I want you to write a new version of it. And you might make some changes. For instance, if you notice what I just read, then I've got, sorry, tend to pause there for a second. So there is, I'm taking this, my rough, and I'm kind of going into my final, but I'm going to change stuff. So if you think about here, remember that line right here, but neither side wants to take the lead. Actually, I changed that to when both sides feel, or but neither wants to take the lead. I got rid of the word side because it sounds better. So when both sides feel they have needs, but neither wants to take the lead, sounded better to me than when both sides feel they have needs, but neither side wants to take the lead. That seems too long. So I'm going to make changes as I write my final draft too. But I'm following the same formula, right? First line, second line, third line. Now, guess what? Some of you are kind of good at this. You don't have to follow those rules. It's your poem. I might do this. Aha. I might change how this looks entirely because I still have my same words. I'm taking this and I'm transferring it, but now I'm changing where I'm changing the line. So if you're not from democracy, you don't know the struggle of compromise. That didn't change. This is where it changed. You can't know the struggle of compromise. I like one-word lines as a writer because it's like punch. You can't know the struggle of compromise. When both sides feel they have needs, but neither wants to take the lead. So you don't have to follow this. You can change it up. You're the poet. You can make this look however you want. And notice this stanza looks way different than this stanza. That's because you're the poet. So that's your thing for today. So step one, okay, open up that if you're not from the prairie template, that's this, okay? Send that copy of that to Notability, and now fill in the template. So you're just rough drafting. Then after you're done with that, you don't turn that in. Either click on the plus sign or and create a submission, and you could write on that if you want and turn that in. Or you could go to Google Docs and you could submit a link for that, and I'll take that as assignment. However, you must be signed in as your apps.district196.org account for me to see this. If you use your own other email, I won't have permission to see. I won't be able to see it. And that's where I can't help you. I can't grade you. Then I have to email you. You email me back. It's a big mess. Then you write your final draft, right? That's this thing over here. So after you open you've started that process. If you've opened up a submission or a Google Doc, you write your final draft. You decide where to break lines. You decide which words are on each line. You can do it just like the original. That's fine. And then submit your final draft as the assignment or as a Google Doc link. That's up to you. And then lastly, read for fun and fill out your reader's log. And we'll see you next week. All right, everyone. Take care. Reach out if you need to. Love you. Hope you're doing well. We're here for you. It's a crazy time. Let's stick together. Okay.